Hey budget friends, it's Steph with Stefsonabudget. Welcome back for another video. We are going to do a budget setup for November. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my monthly calendar, and then we're also going to go ahead and do a budget for our paycheck on October 31st. So let's go ahead and start by setting up November because I am behind and I will need this setup to know what to budget for this paycheck. So like I said, a little behind, but we're going to catch up here really quick. Okay, so the first thing I have is just a blank calendar. This is the November calendar that you guys saw me put in my new budget binder. I went ahead and pulled it out since we're going to be moving these pages around. And I think what I'll do is just go ahead and start on this side here. I've already gone ahead and dated this just to make the process quicker. And then I've also added in my paydays. So I am normally paid, my husband and I both work full-time. We both work in healthcare and we're both paid biweekly on the same Friday. So we'll have two paydays where we bring in dual income. So we're gonna get paid November on the 14th, and then you're gonna see I'm also gonna get paid on the 26th, which is a little unusual, but that's because the 27th and 28th is a work holiday. We have Thanksgiving, and then the Friday after is a work holiday for both of us. And so the paycheck will come in the Wednesday before. So a little bit of an adjustment there, and that's why that looks the way it does. But to start, I'm gonna go ahead and fill in all of the bills that I have on each day. And then when I set up my monthly budget calendar, I set it up in the highlighter method by the Budget Mom. So I'm just going to start by filling in all of the things that we need to pay on the dates. So starting here on this page on the 2nd, I don't have anything. On the 3rd, we're going to have our internet bill. We are also going to have Amazon. Come on, pen. And then we have another credit card that is currently paid off. So this is still an open account. If you're new to my channel, the way that I do this is I have a lot of open accounts still that don't have a balance or anything, but I leave them on my calendar spread. I just don't highlight them off. Because that cues me to know, like, hey, go and check this account, make sure everything is okay, that there's not any sort of payment. Because, you know, some of these cards are in my husband's wallet, some are in mine, and you never know what somebody is going to grab to swipe, and then, you know, we need to pay back kind of thing. Not to say that we're actively using credit cards as debt, but we do use credit cards and then pay that back through our cash envelopes. So hopefully that makes sense. So you're gonna see bills on here that aren't really bills currently. We have nothing on the 4th. The 9th, we're gonna jump all the way to the 9th, and we're gonna have, okay, this pen, not gonna work. That's annoying me. We're gonna have Starlink. Okay. On the 10th, we generally have our home electric bill, which for November is $241 and 58 cents. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in there. And then we have a personal loan, oh, you guys, debt snowball on the 10th as well. Nothing on the 11th. We're going to jump down to the 16th, and we have an Xbox subscription there. And then again, another account that doesn't have anything on it, so there's no payment there. Okay, the 17th, same thing. Nothing on the 18th. Okay, so the 23rd, I have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, so I'm going to write that in here. And then while I'm here on the 30th, we've got, guys, I put this here thinking I just was stickering through 31, and I was like, wait a minute, there's no 31 in November, so it's no big deal. I'll cover that up with a sticker here. But we have, let's just do Oh, you guys, these pins, come on. It looks terrible because I have to write over it 50 times. Okay, the 24th, there's nothing there. And then we have iCloud subscription on the 25th. Okay, so that takes care of this side. Let's go ahead and flip over to this one. And I went ahead and pulled in this 31st since I pulled that sticker off. And this was the payday. So we're gonna do half of our mortgage. That was the only thing that was due here. And then we're gonna start in November. Nothing on the 1st, the 5th, we have our truck payment, and there's a lot on this one. We have a Paramount subscription, and then again, a couple of accounts, credit cards that don't have a balance, but we're gonna fill them in because I like to do a monthly check on them all. Okay, the 8th, we're gonna have our gas bill. And for November, for us, that was 55, oh goodness, and 9 cents. Don't mind my terrible writing there. Okay, nothing on the 12th. Got trailer payment the 13th, and then the 14th is our first November payday. So we're gonna pay half of our mortgage on the 14th. Oh, actually, you guys, I need to back up here to the 11th. My water bill is due on the 11th this month, so I need to put that in there. Okay, also on the 14th, we've got another Kindle Unlimited subscription and another debt snowball here. Okay, 15th is car insurance and Apple Music. Okay, what day is this? The 19th, we've got Netflix. Seems like all of our utilities are bunched into one payday always, and then like all of our subscriptions are bunched into the next one. Okay, couple debt snowballs here on the 20th. The 21st, I have, oh my goodness, you guys. The handwriting is no bueno today. Nothing we can do about it though. Okay, 21st is my car payment. We've got another debt snowball here on the 22nd. Okay, the 26th is our second payday. So we're gonna go ahead and pay the second half of the mortgage. So we'll set half and half, and that will pay December's mortgage, right? Also on the 26th, we've got another subscription for Disney Plus. Okay, and another account with nothing on it there. We've got another debt snowball payment. We've got cell phones on the 29th, or I'm sorry, the 28th. And then on the 29th, there is nothing there. We used to have our braces payment, but that came out, that payment always came out of our HSA, and those are paid off, done. She got them off in September, payments are done. So we're not gonna add that in. All right, you guys, that is all of the expenses plugged in. The next thing I like to do is over here on the side, I like to just make a key for the paydays. So for this month, we're gonna be dealing with a payday on 10/31, 11/14, and 11/26. So we're gonna write those in there. Okay, perfect, just like that. Okay, next thing we need to do is some calculating and highlighting all of the things to make this super simple. The payday for 10/31, everything is highlighted in orange. So let's just go ahead and take care of that. All right, we're gonna highlight all these things because we know that we have to pay all of these with the 10/31 paycheck no matter what. Okay, now that's easy enough. Okay, let's go ahead, let's pull in our calculator. If I can find a good spot for it, let's try here. And I'm gonna just kind of do some quick math, add this all up, make sure it seems within my normal budget, make sure there's nothing I need to look forward further out in the month that needs to get paid with this paycheck. Okay, so we've got our mortgage, our internet, we have to pay some to our Amazon card. This has been paid off, but you guys, we did a little spending here, so a little bit of backsliding. So I need to go ahead and pay this off. So I'm gonna just work it into my budget. So I'm gonna put $100 towards that. I've got my truck payment, a subscription, we've got our gas bill, our Starlink internet. And we do pay for 2 internet services. This is our home internet, and this is a portable internet for my husband for his radio hobby. And then we have our electric bill. Our water bill is about $173 this month. I expect that to start coming down. I was hoping it would already be down this month, but it was still up there quite a bit. And then I've got my trailer payments. We're looking at $31.26. So that is like max variable expenses. So I'm definitely not paying anything early. We are going to stop there. But let's go ahead and work out the, let's do pink for our November 14th. And we'll do yellow for our 11/26 payday. So this is what I mean by I like to make a key so I can look over and see what payday gets paid with what color. Okay, we're gonna work out the paycheck for the 14th and see what that looks like. So again, we're just gonna kind of walk through these, you guys. Also, I will have a debt update for October coming up here pretty soon for you guys, probably next week, hopefully, knock on wood. We'll see how the weekend goes here, if I'm able to get that done. And so for November and December, I am probably going to eliminate like my worked in debt snowballs. You'll notice I had did that for this personal loan debt snowball. We've been paying this all year. I leave my debt snowballs in my budget, you guys. But if I ever need to make an adjustment, like the $31.26 for this paycheck is pretty high. It's a little heavy on the variable expenses. And if I added another $150, I would be kind of just way over, and I would be very limited in savings and my variable, like my cash envelopes. So sometimes I will eliminate those, and likely for November and December, just with the cost of things we've been purchasing for Christmas already, we still have quite a bit to go. I am likely probably not going to utilize all of my debt snowballs in my budget for the next 2 months, and we'll pick back up in January, just because I would rather have a little extra cushion in my budget, so that we're not adding to debt, because these next 2 months are very high spending for us. Now, I don't want to do that to give myself an excuse to spend. I just want to be cautious. And if at the end of those 2 months and when we cycle through the budget, we have extra to put towards that, then we absolutely will. So I don't want you guys to think that we're going to get lazy here on our debt payoff the next 2 months or the last 2 months. I just want to be realistic with our budget, and I wouldn't be able to work that in. And that usually happens about once or twice a year, depending on what days my payday falls, because as the paydays shift a little bit, like for example, we have a lot of high things based on where we got paid here. So sometimes that just happens, and then the next month we're usually able to work it back in. So I hope that makes sense, but you'll see a slight change in that aspect, and you'll notice I didn't highlight that debt snowball that we usually have, and these other accounts that I didn't highlight are things that are paid off, but the open accounts, right, you guys? Okay, so looking at the 14th, we've got our half of our mortgage, our Kindle Unlimited. This is a debt snowball, so I'm not going to add that in. We've got car insurance, subscription, Xbox subscription, paid off, Netflix for $20, paid off. These are both going to be debt snowballs, not to give a spoiler alert, but those are not payments, so we're not going to worry about those. We're going to jump over to our car payment. Let's see, we've got Kindle Unlimited. and we've got iCloud. So for the 14th, see the major difference in those expenses, $3,100 to $2,400. That's huge difference. So that tells me that this paycheck is likely to be very heavy on the variable expenses. So I'm probably going to be looking to pay ahead something. And most likely when this usually happens is I'll set aside half of our large truck payment that will hit for this next payday, and go from there. So I think what I'll do is, well, everything here is going to get paid. So let's go ahead and highlight in the pink, because we know we're good there, the things that are going to get paid here. Okay, these are the things I factored in when we went through that. Okay. And some of that heftiness is because, again, we're getting paid like 2 days earlier. Normally I wouldn't get paid here, and all of this would go into that budget. But you'll notice that these are subscriptions, so they come out automatically when they come out. So, okay, so there's that. I'm gonna go ahead and walk, even though we only have like 4 days of November, I'm gonna walk into December to kind of make sure my thinking of probably half my truck payment is accurate. So again, we have our half of our mortgage, we've got a subscription, there's a debt snowball there, we've got cell phones, and then, oh, shucks. I highlighted this in the wrong color. These half days, they always get me, you guys. Okay, so normally this would go with the 26th. I'm just going to, let me just walk it out. Okay, so 30th, and then it would be 1st, 2nd, there's nothing there. The 3rd is going to be our internet, Amazon, and then the 4th, nothing. The 5th would be our truck payment, plus this, and this is going to go, let's see, you guys, I'm losing my train of thought. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nothing on the 6th, 7th, nothing on, or actually we'll have the 8th. So I think we're going to get 8, 9, 10, 11. We got to get through the 11th. So I'm just going to make a guess of $350 for the utilities plus the Starlink. And I think that covers everything. So see how much higher those expenses are. So if I took half my truck payment, that's going to balance that a little bit more. Okay. All right. I think I'm on track. So I'm not going to worry about those until I set up December, but let's go ahead. We know that we're going to take care of these things here in yellow, and we should have done that one. So I think what I might do to fix this one is, oh, I had to really think this one out hard, you guys. Sorry. I hope I didn't make it not make sense. I tried to do my best, but I had a lot of like internal thinking there. Let me just correct this. I highlighted that incorrectly. And I'm gonna wait for that to dry on that whiteout, otherwise that'll smear like the dickens. Okay, so that's at least our budget calendar. The other thing I like to do is then just go ahead and decorate my spread. And over here, I usually like to indicate what our savings goal is, our debt goal is, so that I see those front and center. So let me go ahead and decorate this up. I am going to opt for seasonal Mickey, I think. There's some really cute like fall stickers in here that I want to use. So I think that's going to be my plan. So I will get that done and then show you guys the finished product here in just a minute. All right, budget friends, we're back. We got it all done. I think it turned out really cute. I'm loving it. It'll be a fun, happy spread for November. So now that this is done, we're going to go ahead and set up the budget for the 31st and get that going so that I can pay all the bills today. Normally, I would pop this into the budget binder, which let's bring that in, but I'm actually just going to go ahead and set it up here to the front so that I can see. And then we're gonna jump into the new budget binder, you guys, that we just set up together the other day. And I'm gonna flip over to my paycheck budget tracker. Let's go ahead and flip this like so. You guys, I can't believe how fat this is, and we're just starting. That's kind of crazy. All right, let's see. This is going to be, all right, so this is my October 31st paycheck, but it is paying everything in November. So we are going to put this in our November budget. It might help if I have my income. So let me grab that really quick. All right, budget friends. That would be super helpful if we had our income to budget. So we are going to budget out $4,819 for the next 2 weeks. And then we're gonna go ahead and work through our fixed expenses. This sheet is from the Budget Mom. This is her printable workbook. So I've just decided to use this again this year. It works really well for me and my budget. So why change anything that's not broken? I love her system. So it's helped us tremendously in our financial journey since we've started. Let's go ahead and plug in those fixed expenses that we just spent time highlighting together. So first up is that first half of the mortgage. That's going to be $1031, and that'll be $1143. All right, moving down, we're going to then pay our internet on 11/3, and that's $70. Okay, so I mentioned we had some spending on our Amazon card, so we definitely need to work on getting that paid back down. So I'm going to put $100 towards that this time, and we should be able to get this taken care of here in a month time, so it shouldn't be too bad. Right, we've got our truck payment on the 5th. That's going to be for $1013. We have a Paramount subscription on the 5th as well, and that's $14. I'm going to go ahead and also put a little A here. This just lets me know that that bill comes out automatically, and there's nothing I need to do to pay that. Okay, we've got our gas bill for the month, and that came in at $55.09. I'm going to go ahead and round up to 56 for that one. We've got our Starlink bill. That's also automatic on the 9th, and that's $50. Let me know if any of you guys do Starlink. My husband is wanting to transition us off of our current internet to Starlink, so I'm curious if you guys have that and if you like it. We don't have like the best internet, and where we're at there are very limited options, so we just kind of have always had what we have, and because there's really not any other choice. Last year they is it Infinity, I think, kind of moved into the area, but it's really expensive, so we've just stuck with what we've had. All right, so we've got our electric bill for the month. That's coming down, and that's $242, so we're officially out of the $300, almost $400 electric bills. That's super nice. We've got our home water bill on the 11th, and that is $173. That should start coming down here more and more. And then last thing we have here is our trailer payment on the 13th for $265. All right, that is all of the fixed expenses. So let's go ahead and add these all up, see what that amounts to. All right, we're looking at $3,126 for fixed expenses, so a little bit higher this pay period. We're gonna take that from the $48.19, and that's gonna leave $1,693 in the budget. So we're gonna go ahead and bring that down to our variable expenses or our cash envelopes. Let me go ahead and fill in these categories, and then we'll go through them together. Okay, we've got those all figured out. So first we have groceries. I normally put $340 in, you guys, but because I'm getting to my budget late, I already did a grocery pickup order for $78, and then my husband went to the grocery store last night to pick up a few things for me, and that was for $23. So we're gonna actually budget $239 because we've already spent $101. So we're gonna put $239 into groceries. I should probably just round that up to $240 in all honesty, you guys. I think I will, just to keep, actually, you know what? It's okay. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it. Okay, Costco, we're gonna put $200 into our Costco sinking fund. Well, I don't know why I said that. It's not a sinking fund, it's our cash envelopes. So $200 for Costco. We're gonna put $150 towards vehicle gas, $40 for miscellaneous spending. House and beauty, I normally budget $60, you guys. That envelope is filled up quite a bit, so I'm just gonna put 20 bucks in there this time. We're gonna budget $42 for water. This is for drinking water, and we use this about every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how much we're going through. Spending is gonna get its usual $360. We're gonna put $50 into pets, and we're gonna put $100 towards takeout. So let's see what that looks like with that, those adjustments this paycheck. Normally these are pretty steady, but this time we've got a few little differences. Okay, so $1201 going into our variable expenses or our cash envelopes. We're gonna take that from the $1693, and that's gonna leave us $492. Okay, so I'm gonna bring the $492 over here to our sinking funds, but we're gonna actually just stuff like our savings binders. So what do we have here, you guys? We have our month ahead. We have our emergency fund savings. We have Christmas. We have our savings challenges. This binder is what primarily stuffs sinking funds. And then we have our debt binder. Okay, so we've got to put 33 into our month ahead and 64 into our emergency fund. Those are our set savings amounts for those two. We're gonna put $100 towards Christmas. Okay, so $492, let's take this stuff away. That's $295, so I'm gonna put $230 into our savings challenges. That leaves me $65 for debt, you guys. So what I'm actually going to do is, okay, so let's do this. Income, $48.19. I am going to go ahead and use some Stefsonabudget income for our debt binder. So I'm going to bring $300 actually into that, and I'm going to go ahead and put that right here. It's going to make my numbers all off, but I don't want to fix it. You guys, I don't want to get the white out, so I'm just going to note it here, and I'll know that that's what that was for. So I'm not going to factor that in since I'm just kind of adding it in after the fact, but that's going to leave me $65. So minus $492, that means $427 is going into our envelopes, not including our debt binder, which is going to leave us $65 left over. I'm going to go ahead and bring that $65 down here to our extra savings, and that's going to sit in our checking as a buffer slash Christmas. So 65 here. And this is what I meant by when I was setting up the calendar, how I was going to kind of not worry about, I couldn't work the debt snowballs in this budget even if I wanted to, you guys. I didn't even have enough for my normal debt binder. So I just want to get through Christmas and not add debt. And then after the Christmas season, if we have that money still sitting there, then we can go ahead and put it towards debt, because it would normally have gone towards those debt snowballs. So I hope that makes sense. So that's why I'm going to indicate it as buffer / Christmas. That way there's no guilt if I do end up using it for Christmas, or it just makes it through the holidays. So that is going to get us to a zero-based budget. This is a bit of a tighter paycheck for us anyways. So eliminating kind of that stress that I don't really need for bills that are not really existent, but I've kept in my budget. You know, from time to time, it's okay to make that adjustment. And then when the income allows, we'll get back on track, obviously. All right, friends, that is a look at our November setup as well as our first paycheck of November. So super exciting. I think it should be a pretty good month for us. At least we're kicking off pretty well. Let's go ahead and add in the our budget calendar now that we've got that done. And that's it, you guys. We've officially kicked off the new budget binder. I am excited. It looks so cute, super fun, and we've got our first budget down and ready to go. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me for another video. I felt like this one was a little bit not as organized as usual. I had a lot of internal thinking with this budget. So this was not one of my easier budgets. Usually they're pretty boring and repetitious, but this one I had to work out a few things. So I hope I didn't confuse you. I hope you found it helpful. But I just want to say thank you for being here. Thanks for joining me for another video. If you like this one, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button to stick around, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.